Hello everyone. Just to get it out of the way, my nail's messed up. I know that these videos are focused on my hands, so it's not the best to have like a bandage. What can you do? Anyway, so this video I mentioned trying to film at some point in the future, in a previous video. This is going to be my fountain pen collection as it is in February of 2026. I got into the fountain pen hobby in, I think, January of 2022, so it hasn't been that long, but it's also been more than a year. But yeah, I started with like very sort of basic things and immediately went for things that were crazy pricey, which not advisable at all. So I've purchased, sold, or given away a lot of pens. I have a lot of things coming and going for quite a while. I actually sold a pen like last week. But yeah, the pens that I have right now, I really like all of them. There's only one of them that technically is in my collection currently that I've considered retired, and that one is the first pen I ever got, and I can always ink it up again. I just don't use it, so I called it retired, but I kept it. I'm not going to be discussing any of the pens that I have sold or given away or traded. Actually, I might mention the traded one, but like that's I'll get to it. But yeah, that's about it, and I'm gonna try and go in chronological order. I do not have a spreadsheet. I want to make a spreadsheet, but the problem is I don't have exact dates for most of these things. I just have I have a note in my notes app that I made on my phone of pens as I got them, and then there's different sections for given away, traded, retired, etc., sold, whatever. So yeah, I'll figure that out, but I would like to make a spreadsheet so I know which is which, etc. But I haven't gotten around to that yet, and currently it's open on my iPad, and I'll get to showing you the pens now. Okay, so this is my first ever fountain pen, not counting the one I had when I was like in elementary school. That was I think it might have been a Schaefer, but it was one of like the Schaefer calligraphy pens where it had different colors for each width of like nib. I could not get along with that thing. Also, I was like 8 years old, so. But anyway, this was my first fountain pen I got as an adult. I got it in 2022, I think in either January or February. I think it's January, because I started getting interested in fountain pens in December of 2021, when my mother, so my mom found my grandfather's desk pen and asked me if I knew anything about it or how to fix it. I did not. So I started looking up how to fix it, and it just spiraled on crazy style from there. But yes, this is a Pilot Kakuno. I got it from a local art store called Curry's. Well, I don't think, does Curry's even exist anymore? It might not exist anymore. Anyway, so I got it from a local art store. I actually got it downtown because I was that way with my dad, and I was like, hey, can we stop in here? And I got one of these. I actually found the original packaging for this the other day, which is very exciting for me. But yeah, you can see in here, it is very stained, because all I used in this was black ink. That's it. I used the cartridge, and I used the black Pilot cartridges. I used black, I think it's Jacarbon, or Gerban, the Pearl Noir, which is just their plain black ink, and I also used Diatramentis Document Black, and that's all I used in here. This is a medium nib. I love the Kakunos so much, although I was having an issue recently with like them drying out, and it turns out it was just the Con 40. But yeah, I love these pens. That snap is so fun, and I love that they have the little smileys on them. I don't use this pen anymore because it's not really my color scheme. I got it because it was cheap, and I wanted to try fountain pens, and I got it in a medium nib and I've stuck to medium nibs pretty much the whole time I've been in fountain pens, except for recently when I've started branching out. But yeah, it's a medium. I wrote with it with the black cartridge it came with, and I was like, oh, okay, I get it. This might be a problem for me. So that's the first one. So right now I have 3 pen cases. Two of them are Galen leather ones. One of them is like a proper pen case. The other one is meant to be like a pencil case sort of thing, but it has a pen holder in it as well. And then I have my, I lied, I have 4, but one of them is not in use. And then I have the rickshaw sleeve that I'm using currently. And then I have, Did I mention that I have the one that just holds the pens? I think so. But then I have my superior labor one, which is taking a rest right now because I'm using the rickshaw one. But I think I need to switch back and forth between them because they're both so beautiful. I don't want either of them to just not go unused. Okay, so we'll get to I'm going to switch over and we'll talk about the cases, and I'll just show you what I'm working with. This might look a little dumb, but I can't fit everything in frame. So this is the rickshaw sleeve that is a collaboration between Abby C and Job's Journal. Is it Job's Journal or Job's Journals? Anyway, we know Job. But yeah, I love this. My mother-in-law got it for me for Christmas this past year, and it has orange inside, and it has my currently inked pens in it. I also have two pens that are inked up that are not in those, and they are my journal pen, which I keep in a pen stand on my desk. That is a wooden pen stand by Fountain Pendulum, Galen from Fountain Pendulum, because she is semi-local to me, within my province, I believe. But yeah, so I have that, and then my other pen is my reading journal, which is in the pen loops of the reading journal. Okay, so I will start with these ones because I believe the next pen I want to talk about, I believe is in there. Yeah, just checking my list. Yes, okay, so the next two pens that I want to talk about are in here. So, actually, no, don't look at that yet. Okay, let's see. Okay, so these two. This was my second ever fountain pen, and it is a Kaweco Sport in the plain black classic Kaweco Sport, and I have used the heck out of it because, as you can see, I've rubbed the logo or the foiling on the logo off. Yeah, I was very reckless with this one, and it just has, I believe, like a regular old medium nib. It's kind of gross, don't look at that. But yeah, so I have a medium nib in there, and these pens, the pens that I keep in here, these are relegated to, or not relegated, but like, I largely use these ones just for drawing now. No reason in particular, I just don't gravitate towards them as much, and I know that if I ever want to use like a pigment ink for drawing, they're Kawecos, and so they're super easy to take apart and clean out. So I use them mostly. Okay, the next one, these are all chronological. I think I said that? Anyway, this is the Kaweco collection in the dark olive. I think it's dark olive. I was just calling it the olive sport, but I believe it's called dark olive. I really love this color, and if you've been around on my channel or my Instagram, you know that one of my favorite colors is olive green. So yeah, I've just had this one for quite a while. Probably this is likely also a medium. Yep, medium nib. Yeah, so I just have these two in here for now, and I really like them, but I just don't gravitate towards them, so I just put them. I didn't want to get rid of them for sort of, well, this one specifically for sentimental reasons. This one I just think is pretty, and I'm sure I'll come around to it again later. So I've just put them aside for now, and I will use them for drawing when I feel like it. And then I'm going to move over into here to show you. I think this chronological thing is dumb, actually. Why did I do this? Anyway, okay. So the other one that sits in here is this other Kaweco, which is the frosted sport in the natural coconut. I was just calling it, I don't remember what I was calling it. I was calling it something. This one I had a little bit of an accident with. You cannot tell anymore, which I'm so thankful about because I was very afraid. The ink in here, I had a converter in here that was not seated properly, and as a result, all this ink got in here and inside the cap part, like in between the outer shell and like the seal, and it was like bright purple, and I was very upset by this. So I just let it soak in water for like a day and a half, and thankfully it sort of diluted enough that it's not that noticeable anymore. Let's see what's in here. What a surprise, a medium nib. I actually do have a few other Kaweco nib widths in other places. Why did I don't remember how I lined these up. They were all matching, and now they're not. It's fine, I'm normal. Okay. But yeah, I have a fine Kaweco nib somewhere, and I think I'm maybe abroad, but I don't have any extra fines because I don't go that fine. Fine, I'm literally just dipping my toes into now. But yeah, so those are my Kakunos. The other pen that's usually in here, I will just show now because it's in my currently inked. So if you watch my videos, you've seen recently my my TWSBI ECO, This is the TWSBI ECO in the like clear demonstrator. It's just the regular ECO. This one has a broad nib, and so I use it for drawing because I love a broad line when I'm drawing. But yeah, as you can see, it's currently inked, and so it goes back in the Rickshaw sleeve. Okay, so believe it or not, there was a point when I had two of these. These are Galen leather pen cases. I had two of these cases. These hold, I believe 10 each. So I had 20 pens roughly. Wait. No, yeah, this is 10, I believe. I'm getting all anyway. So I had two of these, and then I also had one of these, but it was specifically designed for pocket pens because I had a lot of Kawecos. I just kept collecting colors, and then I was like, wait a minute, why am I doing this? So I'm just gonna get into it. I really like the quality of Galen leather products. They're really beautiful. The only downside is I'm trying to think of downsides. Actually, if you're in Canada, you can get them from Blesket, but they're often sold out. I think their customer service is wonderful. Yeah, I think they're really beautiful, and I like that I wasn't familiar with Crazy Horse leather before this, and I got this one as well as you saw, this one is also Galen leather. They're both so beautiful, and they look different, which is very cool. They have crazy pull-up, and like they mark very easily. I'm not going to do it, but like they mark very easily, and at first I was very unsure about that, but now I do like it. I don't know if I would like it for every leather product I own, but for these I think it's nice. Okay, so let's get into it. This is full, by the way. You can probably tell. Okay, yeah. Oh, I lied, it isn't full. Okay, so I have 8 pens in here right now, because the other ones are busy. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to chronological again because I think it makes more sense for me to talk about it this way. So right before I got the frosted coconut, literally in between, I got this other Kakuno, which is the clear one. Oh no, there's like nasty in there. I don't know if you can see that. There's just like dried water flecks in there, so not nasty, but anyway. So this is also a Kakuno. I love the Kakunos, but it has a Metropolitan nib, and the reason is because I busted the nib on this one because I dropped it. I don't remember how, but I dropped it at some point and the nib bent, and I was so sad. And then I don't remember where, but I was able to buy, I think it might have been Wonder Pens, but I was able to just buy a replacement nib unit for the Metropolitan. It probably would have been cheaper to just buy a Kakuno, whatever. But so I got the nib replacement, and it came with like one of the weird squeeze converters. I don't remember what those ones are called, but it's terrible. So that's the next one. I do really like this one because I find it's slightly elevated from this one. The new Modoromi, is that how you pronounce it? The Modoromi Kakunos are so nice, but I don't need any more. But I do like those ones as well because like this one, it's slightly more elevated than the plastic solid color ones. I mean, I think the gray solid color one is fine as well. Or not fine, they're all fine. I just meant that it doesn't suit my vibe. The pink and white doesn't suit my vibe particularly anymore. Okay, so what came next? Okay, it looks like the Prera was next, which is in my currently inked. The Prera is a pilot brown, or it's a pilot pen, and it's a steel nib pen. I like this one a lot. They just released new colors, and you can't find this color anywhere anymore. I'm slightly tempted to get one of the new colors, and by the new colors I mean the cinnamon brown. And that's largely just because this brown reads very black on camera, and in most lighting you can only really tell if it's dark brown in like very specific lights. Like I don't even know if you can see right now that it's brown. It's fine, I like it. It writes lovely. I love pilot steel nibs. They're so nice. That's why I'll talk about it later. One of my wishlist pens is a pilot gold nib. Ooh, fancy. Yeah, this one just has like a regular old pilot medium nib. So yeah, there's that one as well, and then we'll keep moving. I'm just gonna pause because if my clips are too long, my phone hates exporting them. Following the Prera, I got this pen, and this was my first steel nib pen, but it is not the original one that I got. And the reason for that is because I got this pen almost the exact same, except it was slightly more cream colored. I don't remember what that one was called, but basically I got that one off Amazon. But I got it off Amazon, and I got it in a medium fine nib, and I was writing with it, and I was like, interesting. This might be a little too fine for me. And it was my first gold nib, and I liked the way the sailors felt. I liked the feedback. I just did not like the line width, because I at the time I preferred like Western mediums. I was okay with like the Japanese mediums as well, but like I was preferring Western mediums. Like my every gel pen I had used up until this point was 0.7. And so I was like, I don't know how I feel about like a medium fine nib. Anyway, I found someone on the Canadian Fountain Pen Facebook group that was looking to sell this pen in a medium nib, and hopefully, or not sell, trade for like a similar sailor pen in the medium fine. And they live in my city, and they were actually based in and around where I was getting my hair, where my mom gets her haircut. I don't get my haircut there anymore. Also, I shaved my head. Anyway, okay, so I was like, hey, I'll be around the area on this day. Do you want to trade? And they were like, absolutely. And so we traded, and now this one is mine, and it is the medium nib, and I've had it tuned by Salman of Toronto Pen Company. And it's just to make it like wetter, and it's so nice. This is one of my favorites. It is like it's not my favorite. It's my first gold nib, and I treasure it for that, but also because, as I mentioned in my February currently inked, I used to be very matchy with the bodies of my pens. I'm trying to stop, or not stop it, but like I'm trying to branch out. And so since this is white with black, any ink can go in here in my brain. It doesn't make logical sense. I know this. Any ink can go in any pen, but I wanted them to match. And so if it's white and black, anything can go in there. Okay, let's continue. Oh no, my iPad turned off. Okay, let's see. What's next? Oh, really? Okay, so the next one, it's crazy the jumps that I did. Like, I jumped from getting Kakunos to sailors immediately. That's crazy. Why did I do that? That might not be true. I did sell... Okay, yeah, no, I had a whole bunch of pens in between, but I just sold them, so... Anyways. This is my Sailor Pro Gear from the Afternoon Tea series in Christmas Spice Tea. I think I am... Oh, geez, I think I might have cracked the lid. Or, not the lid. Yeah, the cap. I don't want to deal with that right now. I might cut that part out. Okay, anyway, this is in the Afternoon Tea series. This is the Christmas Spice Tea. I don't remember the year, but it's so beautiful, and it was my first 21 karat gold nib, and it's so beautiful. I love the colors on this so much, because it's 2 different shades of orange, and then, like, a taupe brown. Also, I adore that the finial is red, because pretty much every other sailor has a black background with the anchor. I love that for the Afternoon Tea series and certain other series, they use a different color background. I think that's so fun. Okay, what came after that? So, following that, I got the Lamy Cream. This is just a Lamy Safari in cream. This is the, I don't remember the year again. I'm so sorry. I'm so bad with the years for special editions. Anyway, I had one of these, and then I thought I didn't like Lamys, so I sold it. And then I saw my friend Ashley had one in one of the videos she was featured on it, and I was like, oh man, I want one again. I like the colorway so much, because similar to this one, I assumed that, like, oh, if it's cream, it's a neutral, so any ink can go in there, which is what I've been doing, except I almost always, for a long time, inked this was just brown. But yeah, so it's really nice. This is also... Oh, wait, no, I lied. This is a fine, because I have a handful of Lamy nibs, actually. They're all pretty much the same regular steel one, except this one. This is the fine black-plated one, and I was using the medium last month, and then I switched to the fine because I was finding it to be writing too wet, whatever ink I had in there. I can't even remember. But yeah, very odd for me to switch to a fine. Well, not so much anymore when you see this guy, but yeah, I switched to a fine, and I just kept it on there because I do like it right now. Okay, so the next one is the one that, okay, so this is the Sailor 1911S Compass. This is a steel nibbed sailor pen, and my mom got this one, and after a while of having it, she was like, I'm not using it. She actually, because I got really good at this point, I can't even remember what year it was. At that point, I had gotten really good at not reselling, but like rehoming pens on Facebook Marketplace and in the Canadian Fountain Pen Facebook group. I had gotten really good at that, and by good at that, I just mean I was like, "Hey, anyone want this?" And people were like, "Yes, I'm interested." And then either they would meet me in the GTA or I would mail it to them. And so somehow I got pretty decent at it. And then my mom was like, "Hey, I have a handful of starter pens that I'm not interested in. Do you want any of them? And or can you sell them for me?" And I was like, absolutely. And so I just kind of put them all in a lot on Marketplace, except for this one because I decided I wanted to make it my planner pen because it's a medium fine, and I was finding when I was using the one that I had used previously was a Pilot Metropolitan, and it was in a medium nib, and I was finding that since it was a pigment ink, if I didn't clean it out often, the line would get really like quite broad because of all the buildup in the nib, and I wasn't a fan of that, and so I wanted something in a medium fine nib, so I used this for quite a while until the Sanzen paper got real bad, and then I started using a gel pen, and I've been using a gel pen since because I don't have to worry about smudging as much because I write wrong. My pen grip is terrible. So this is currently inked, and I'm using it for my reading journal. Okay, my tea has been switched for my giant water. Yeah, I love this water. I love water in general. Everyone drink more water right now. Okay, so after the Lamy cream, we went to the Compass, and then the TWSBI ECO Caffe and bronze trim. Okay, so there was a very long time. One of my first ever pens was a TWSBI, and it was the one that was I think called Jade, and it was like one of the regular silver trim ones, and it was the Jade colorway. It was kind of jade, but it was more like a really light minty sage green, and it was very beautiful. But after a while, I thought that I didn't like piston filling pens because of the large ink capacity, and I at the time was switching my inks so often that it didn't make sense for me to have any piston filling pens. And so I sold that one, and then I didn't have any for a really long time. Then this colorway came out, and I wasn't interested in it until I saw it in person at Wonder Pens, and then I went, oh, okay, I get it. So I got this, and it's so nice. I really like the breakfast series of TWSBI pens, as you can see here. But my only issue is that it's not even an issue, it's just a matter of preference. I really would have loved since the cream one had rose gold trim and these two have bronze trim, I would have loved if they did the matcha with rose gold or bronze trim as well, because I know that people were saying it wouldn't have looked good. I disagree personally, because when I saw the was it the Royal Jade pen that they did, the Eco that was Royal Jade with like a dark jade green and then like the rose gold trim, I thought that was stunning. It reminded me a lot of my Lola, because that's something that she would like. Anyway, so I really liked this colorway because it's very creamy. When they said cafe, I definitely see it like a cafe latte. I definitely can see that, and I thought it was so nice. However, I'll talk about that in a second. What's the next one I got? Okay, I'll talk about it in a minute. But, yeah, I really like this, and I really have come to love TWSBIs again, which is so nice, especially if I'm using them for my daily journal, because then I can fill it up with a lot of ink, and I don't have to keep refilling it. Right now, the pen that I have currently inked for my daily journal this month, February is a short month already. I've refilled it twice. Maybe I'm just writing more. The next one after the Caffe TWSBI ECO was my Esterbrook Tortoise, the Estie Tortoise. I had been coveting this pen for quite a while, but I couldn't justify it as it is quite expensive for a steel nib pen. However, I wrote with someone's, and I can't remember who it was, but I wrote with it, and I went, oh, okay, absolutely, I need this. But I didn't want to have to buy it. I couldn't find anywhere that had it in Canada, like any stationery shops that had it in stock in the medium nib with gold trim, because I didn't like the way the silver looked with this material. So I waited, And then at Scriptus, Esterbrook was there, and I was like, okay, so I'll get that, because my first year at Scriptus, I don't remember what happened there. The second year, I think it was either the second or third year that I got this one, and I went in with a plan, and I was like, unless I see these specific pens or inks, I'm not getting anything. And so I saw this because Esterbrook was there, and I was like, okay, I guess I have to get it. And so that was the only thing I got, I believe, that year. And I think I do find the capping mechanism so satisfying. So this is just, yet again, a medium. I forgot to say, this is also a medium. This is the fine, but this is also a medium. Shock of all shocks. I really like the Estie. I have, as you know, I have a weird grip, but like, if I were to hold a pen regularly, it would be the perfect size for my hand. But since I hold a pen like this, it's still a great size. I don't post my pens really ever. I'm trying to think, are there any that I do that with? I don't think I do. Yeah, no, I don't think so. But actually maybe the Prera. But yeah, I don't really post any of my pens. But the thing about the Estie, that I love is the push cap, because it seals it so well. I've only had an issue once, and it was because I had an ink in here that was actually, it was like an orangey red, and those are known to have crusties, and so it wasn't the cap's fault. It was literally just the type of ink. They just do that. I don't know, like something in the chemical composition of the ink makes them do that. Not ideal, but I still love those colors anyway. Okay, what's next? The Espresso, of course. I love this colorway as well. However, I'm considering rehoming this one. So if you live in Canada and you have any interest, let me know. But this is also a medium nib. The only reason I'm considering it is a medium. Yeah, okay. The only reason I'm considering rehoming it is because, one, I haven't been reaching for it, and also I have this one, and they're different colors, of course, but they're both bronze trim, and I just find this one goes better with more of my inks. This one, I feel like, obviously, like I said, trying to break out of it, I can put a whole bunch of other colors in here if I wanted to, but for some reason it feels weird to have it go with anything other than brown, or anything along this kind of, like, not shade of brown, but anything in this tone of, like, this depth of color. I feel like I can't put anything lighter or darker than this in here, which, when you don't have, well, I still have a lot of pens, but like when you don't have a pen in every color, it gets weird if you're trying to make them matchy. So I might rehome this. I'm still thinking on it. My mom told me not to, since it is a limited edition, and if I wanted it later, it might be harder to find. But we'll see. I don't know. If you're interested, send me a message, preferably on Instagram, because I tend to reply there better, or I tend to reply there easier, and I don't think my email is listed on my YouTube channel, and if I did, I wouldn't want it to be. But yeah, I guess we'll see. And what comes next? Sorry about that. Had to have a brief Mimi intermission because she started barking at something outside, and I thought, oh, maybe my brother's coming home. So I went to go open the door for him, and there was nothing out there. And so she was just barking at nothing, and I let her onto the porch, and she was huffing at the air and, like, snorting, and I was like, girl, what are you doing? Anyways, the next pen is the Sakuramochi Sailor Pro Gear Slim. This is my baby. Well, one of my babies. Obviously, these are all my babies, but I love this pen so much, and it is the one that is getting me into finer nibs, which, crazy. I've been in this hobby for like 5 years. Is it 5 or 4? Give me a second. I can't do mental math. It's 4 years. I'm okay. Anyway, so this is the Sakuramochi. It was part of the Japanese Sweets series of Pro Gear Slims, and so it came with an ink. I did not want the ink, and I could not afford it when it was in the gift box with the ink, so I just kind of wrote it off, and then I could not find it anywhere. Someone was selling it on, I think, one of the Facebook groups. I think this was like the worldwide one, and I was like, hey, has anyone contacted you about this? And they were like, no, because they were based in the States, and I was like, I'm interested in it, and it was a fine nib. I figured that someone who is able to tune nibs would be able to make it write broader for me, or not broader, but like wetter, because you can't really reverse fine nibs into something wider like a medium. It's just not possible, really, unless you make it like a stub, but I don't want that. So yeah, I had Salmon tune this when I got it, and I love it so much, and I'm very pleased with it, and it is making me curious about more fine nibs. I don't think I would ever go for an extra fine, and yeah, no, I don't think so, unless it was like a Pelican, because those write wet anyway. But yeah, so it's beautiful. I love it so much. The green and pink is one of my favorite color combinations ever. I associate it with my friend Ennis very much. But yeah, this color combination is so nice. It's kind of hard to tell about the pink, but it's like a very pale, it almost looks kind of like my skin tone, almost a little bit. But and then the sage green, so nice. When my partner and I first got engaged, we considered having this color scheme for our wedding. But yeah, what's next? Okay, I already showed you the demonstrator. So now we'll go into, I only have 2 pens left, and then I'll talk about my wish list. So I'll just take a pause here and we'll keep going. This is my Scriptus 2025 pen. Goodness gracious, this pen is so gorgeous. Okay, so a long time ago, not a long time ago, Grace from Wildly Imaginable has a pen with a resin similar to this, where it's red and white / cream swirls. I saw that and went, oh my goodness, that looks like this photography series that I saw by a French artist a long time ago, where he mixed milk and blood. Kind of gross. I apologize if anyone's squeamish, but yeah, it reminded me of that. I didn't want to comment that on her video because I didn't want to freak her out. But yeah, it reminded me of that, and ever since I was like, I need a pen like that. And so when I went to Scriptus last year, I decided, hey, I'm going to keep an eye out, because I know there are a bunch of small maker pens, small maker pen shops that come to Scriptus every year. And this is by London Pen Co., who is based in London, Ontario, which is, I have family that lives there. And so I saw this and I was like, okay, absolutely, I'm gonna get this. Like, look how beautiful the finial is. It's not a finial, it's just like, I guess the end. But like, it's so stunning. I love it so much. And there's you might be able to tell, but there's glitter in here. I don't think it's diamond crushed or whatever. I can't remember what that's called. But I don't think it's like that. It's just beautiful, beautiful resin. And he made it himself. I do not remember what his name is, but he's such a lovely guy. And then I was like, hey, how much is this? And he told me, and I was like, okay, cool. And he was like, all right, what kind of nib do you want? And I was like, I don't know, what are the options? And he had the longest list of nib options, and I was like, oh my gosh, okay, I'll do whatever. Well, I did a medium. But he basically, when he sells the pens, he brings them to the show without this will take a little bit, but the converter's in there. Oops. Anyway, so he has them on display without a nib unit installed in it. So fuck. Why did I do that? Okay. That was silly of me. That was very silly. Goodness. Okay, wow. I have that on camera, huh? Okay. So, I'm gonna clean my hands 1 second. If you saw me, like, pulling out this from my currently inked case and, like, touching the nib and stuff, and were like, no, Bucky, please don't. I'm so sorry. I don't know how I, like, didn't realize, and now I've been caught red-handed. But, anyway. So yeah, I love this pen so much, and the man who makes them is such a sweetheart. I think his name might be Sean, actually. I'll check, and I'll put it on the screen. But, this pen, is it a Bach nib, I think? I have no idea. But it's a really lovely nib. It's just a medium nib, and he has someone on site tune it for you, which is so crazy. I literally was like, okay, cool. I would like this pen, and I would like this nib. And he was like, great. I'm going to pass it over to my colleague over there, and he's going to tune it for you. And I was like, what? Okay. So it writes so nicely. It is very, very wet, though. So I have stuck to trying to put medium to dry inks in here. Right now it has Diamond Red Dragon, which is why my hand now looks like I killed something. But yeah, it's so nice. I really love this dot. I wasn't sure how I'd feel about it, but I love this dot. Yeah, it's so nice. I love it so much. I'm so pleased that I got it because I wasn't sure. But then I had to. I really had to. Last but certainly not least is my new Sailor. This is the Sailor 1911S in Pirate's Life. I believe it was the 2020 or 2021 limited edition, the limited North American edition, so you can't get it overseas, unfortunately, unless you buy it secondhand. I am so in love with this pen. I have it inked up for this month for my daily journal. The only downside is that apparently I've written so much that I have had to refill the converter twice. Anyway, I'm so pleased with this. This is also, shockingly, a medium nib, and it writes so smooth out of the box. Well, smooth for a sailor, out of the box. The one thing I did notice is there is a slight, not angle to it, but like, there's a bit of, not an edge, I guess it could be an angle, because in certain writing, it can almost look like a tiny bit of a stub, which is very fascinating, and I'm not mad at it at all. I really like this pen, and it's just so beautiful, and I'm so happy I got it. It had been one of the first pens that I had ever dreamed of having, and it was on my wish list for a very long time. Then I took it off my wish list because I assumed I would never get it. Then I found it at Yoseka, and I'm so glad that they had one left in my preferred nib width, which is medium. Yeah, so very pleased, and I love it so much, and yeah, that's my pen collection as of, what date is it? As of February 18th, 2026. Will it change in the next few months? Probably, because I have an idea, but yeah, thank you for watching up until this point. Yeah, I'll continue in a second. Okay, fourth time's the charm. Oh boy, okay, so I kept talking about stuff that was irrelevant, and then I tried to use a notebook that wasn't gonna work, but the TLDR is that I'm going to be writing out my list of pens that I have on my wish list, and so, yeah, I'm gonna be writing them down so that I can try and curb my impulse spending, because I've been very bad with my finances in the past few years, and I have a job now, which is better, and also my mother-in-law helped me to make a finance tracker in a spreadsheet. Thank you, Mom, I love you. But yeah, so I'm gonna write them down so I have like a list, and so if I go, ooh, that pen's shiny over there, I can go, no, you have a list, check your planner. So I have this here actually to cover up, because the page underneath this is where I was tracking my finances before I got the spreadsheet. So yeah, we're not gonna look at that. Let's see. Do I want a title? I feel like I should have a title, but I don't. Okay, I'm using this because I feel like since we're talking about fountain pens, I should use fountain pen, but I don't know why I'm so. Oh, it's OCD. Never mind. I keep having that. I keep having that realization where I'm like, why do I keep overthinking this one thing? And then it's like, oh, it's the anxiety, autism, OCD combo. Some of these, I would like my regular medium nib. Others, I would like to try something else. Ooh, fancy. Okay, so which one am I gonna go with first? I should check my list. Give me a second. I'm gonna check my list. Okay, I'm really sorry. The framing probably shifted a whole bunch in the past second, because I realized my stationery wish list was on my phone, which I used to record, and I tried to have it sent to my iPad, and it wouldn't go, so I had to figure that all out. Technology, you gotta love it, huh? Okay, I've also decided that I want to actually, since my stationery wish list is actually, or not stationery, my pen and inks wish list is not as crazy as I thought it was, which is very good, because I was really worried. I was like, oh no, I'm gonna sound crazy. They are kind of crazy, but they're also a little, they're ones that I'm aiming to own in my lifetime. They're not ones that I'm going to buy all immediately now. I might buy one now, but not now. It'll be in like the next 5 months. But yeah, so I will start with ink, because the ink one is the least crazy, because it's one I had, I didn't like, I tried again, I loved. And so I'm going to wait until I finish my sample, but I used it a few months ago and I loved it. Okay, so we'll start. I forgot to write ink. And I'm going to leave like some space underneath. So the first ink that I really would like a bottle of is Kakuno Oto Yamabukiro. I tried this quite early on in my fountain pen journey. Yeah, journey. I was gonna say career. That is not what that's called. I tried it fairly early on, and I didn't care for it because I was like, why is it leaning that way? But then I tried it. Was it early this year or late last year? I tried it in something, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. And no, I tried it, and I was like, oh, I do like it. And then the pen that I had it in dried out pretty significantly, because the sealing wasn't great, and I was like, oh man. But I liked it, and so I put it in something that did seal well, and I was like, okay, yeah, this rules. I really like the fact that it sort of reminds me of like a non-permanent version of Citrus Black, but it doesn't go down neon and shade to black. It is like a gross yellow-green color with black shading, and I find that very fascinating. Anyway, I just love like greens and yellows that are kind of nasty. So this is the one ink bottle that I really want to get. I'm going to leave some space for my list to grow, but we'll keep going. Okay, actually, let's start with the one that is the most unrealistic. Because I have a very realistic expectation that I will never own this. I just think it's pretty. So there was a pen that was, I believe, one of the first hatch projects with endless pens. That was, I think it's Turnt Pen Co. I'm just gonna write endless pens X Turnt Pen Co. And that pen was like a custom resin and a custom, I guess, body, and it was called Icar. I had a very large Greek mythology phase as a kid, and so the concept of Icar already fascinated me, and this was literally the first pen I had ever seen with swirly resin, because I was under the impression I did not care for swirly resin, or like hand poured, whatever, that sort of resin. I was under the impression I did not care for that at all. That was the first one I saw when I went, oh, okay, I think I do like that. And it turns out I'm just very picky with my resin. Not necessarily like in, like, I'm very picky about the colors and the distribution of colors. So I don't think I would have ever been able to get one of these anyway, because it was like, it would have been up to chance. But this pen reminds me so much of marble, and with like the little bits of gold running through it. I'm sure I have a picture on the screen at the moment. It is such a stunning pen, and I will never get it because it was a limited edition, and no one's selling them anywhere because it was a limited edition. And yeah, whatever, it is what it is. I think they did a restock of it once, and I considered it, and then but at the time I was like, I don't have the money for that, so I didn't do it, which was a smart financial decision. A sad, emotional, and hobby decision, but it is what it is. But yeah, so that's the first pen that I have on my wish list. So I've decided I'm going to, for the pens, I'm doing like most unrealistic to most realistic. So like the ones that are pure, like this one's pure fantasy. The next one I'm about to write down is possible, but not for a while. And the other two that are on the list are completely within reason. They're just out of my budget at this current moment. Okay, so the next one is not in I'll do a space. So the next one is no longer in production, I believe, but I want one so bad. Is it okay, so I believe it's an M400. It might be a 600, but I can't remember off the top of my head. The Pelikan White Tortoise is such a beautiful pen. They are harder to find now because they are, I think they're limited, but it's such a good pen. I think I like the way that Pelikans write because they are very wet writing, and I do tend to prefer that. However, their nibs are, the sizing is crazy just in comparison to standard Western and Japanese style nibs, because they are all much broader than anything else you would find with some sort of consistency. So I would consider getting this in a fine. I'm gonna make a note of that. I would consider getting this in a fine, because when I was looking online, it said like the fine writes like a 0.7, and I was like, whoa, how wet does the medium write then? So yeah, that'd be kind of crazy. But yeah, so that's the other one that is slightly more unrealistic, but still, it could be in the cards in my future when I have the funds. So the next one, also, this one is, I don't think this is as expensive as the pen I'm going to put as the most realistic. It's just, I don't know how to go about getting it. And by go about getting it, I know exactly how. I just don't know how much shipping will be and whether there will be a lot of duties because Canada Post is going crazy with it right now. I don't know what they're on about. Sometimes I get charged with a lot of customs and duties charges. Sometimes I don't. I had 2 packages come in from the US yesterday and I got nothing. But then I've had other packages arrive from the US where I had to pay like over $100. I don't know. It's a lot. So anyways, back to this pen. The next pen that I am dreaming of owning is actually a Benu. This would be the Benu Ambrosia model in Brown Orchid. This is such a fascinating pen to me because it looks like okay. I find a lot of the new pens to be very pretty, but not particularly my thing. Because a lot of them tend to be very flashy and, dare I say, gaudy. But this one has stuck in my mind for some reason. It is no less gaudy or less flashy than any of the other pens by them. But something about it really, it's very beautiful to me. I think it's the contrast between the purple and gold. I've never been a fan of purple and yellow combinations. I just never liked that, even though they're on the opposite sides of the color wheel, so it makes sense contrast-wise. I've never been a fan of that until recently when I saw this pen, or not recently, but like when I saw this pen, I was like, okay, that works. And also when I was trying to find purple inks to go in my Sailor 1911S. But there's something about this pen that is so fascinating to me, and I think it's because in a way it reminds me of my Lola. I'm sorry I talk about her a lot. She was a very large factor, or not factor, influence in my life, and she passed away in 2020, right before lockdown actually. But yeah, I just miss her sometimes. But this pen reminds me a lot of her because of the colors. Her favorite colors were yellow, brown, and orange. I did not like any of those colors mostly growing up, and then something shifted in me when I was like late teens, early 20s, and I was like immediately like, okay, I get these colors now. And now they're my favorite colors. I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, so for some reason the browns and the golds in this contrasted with the purple really is very her. So I think that's really cool, and I would like to get that at some point. But it's an exclusive from the Benu website. They are based in, is it Armenia? If I'm wrong, I'll put it on the screen where they're based. But they're based somewhere across the ocean, and so I'm not entirely sure who they ship with and how much customs I would be charged. I would get this in a fine as well because the Schmidt nibs that are on Benus are super juicy, and I loved it, but I was also like, now that I'm veering into fines, that might be something to consider. But yeah, I will definitely look into that. I need to ask around. Okay, last but certainly not least is the pen that I think is the most realistic for me to get, like in the next coming months. Unless my mom wants to go in on this, I'll ask. And this is a pilot that I alluded to earlier. I am curious about the Pilot Custom 823. And this one, the one that I would want, would be in the amber colorway and in medium nib. So I have been so fascinated with the Custom 823 for quite a while. I would say years, because I've never tried a vacuum filling pen, but I find them very fascinating, especially now that I'm interested in things with a higher ink capacity, but for my daily journal. I also have considered the Pilot 74, the Pilot Custom 74, because it is basically the 823, just slightly smaller and with like a regular cartridge converter system. However, as I have complained about before, I do not like the Con 40 at all. I think that actually I think the custom 74 might be able to take the Con 70, but like if I can get this one and it has a vacuum, I think I would like to try that as well. The amber color is because they recently in North America made it available to have the clear color colorway, or it's clear, so I guess lack thereof. But I've seen it. I think it's really beautiful, but I do think I would like the amber more personally because I'm a brown fan. That sounds odd, but I'm a fan of brown, the color brown, very much so. And also, since the amber is like tinted, it wouldn't matter what color I put inside. The clear one, I would be able to see the color, which also makes it a neutral, which goes back to the thing that I was saying about not trying to match pens. But I think the amber is so pretty and it's very unique, and I like the fact that the end parts are also dark brown as opposed to on the clear one they're black. So that's very fascinating to me. Medium, because I love Pilot mediums. The thing about this one is the fact that in North America, if you want to buy this, it comes with a giant bottle of Pilot ink, either in blue or black. The black would be fine. I do not want Pilot blue. No offense to Pilot blue. It's just not my color. I don't use blue ink that much, and I wouldn't need a 50 milliliter bottle of it. It would just go to waste. So I don't want that. I have been advised by several people in my journal meetup group that there is a pen retailer based in Japan on eBay that sells pens for a very decent price. So I looked into that, and it is a very decent price, and the shipping is totally fine as well. It's relatively cheap shipping, which is amazing because shipping within Canada in and of itself is crazy expensive. Shipping to Canada, very expensive. So I'm very pleased to say that. But since it's based in Japan, they don't get the like bundle or the gift box that has the giant bottle of ink. It's just the pen, and it knocks like almost $250 off the regular price, and that's amazing for me. So that's the one that I'm considering maybe getting soon. One of these two I will get this year. I'm trying to be good with money. Like I said, I'm trying very hard to be good with money. So I'm going to save up for these. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I put away all the other pens, but I have this one here, and I still have my Kakuno here. Ooh, that matches quite well. So yeah, my first and not my newest. Wait, where's my newest? My first ever fountain pen, and my newest fountain pen. That's so cute. They're like siblings. Not at all. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope you're doing well, and I hope you didn't mind me yammering on for however long this video will be. Thank you for watching, and I hope you're doing well. If you have any pens that you have on your wish list, please tell me about them. I would love to know, because I am nosy as hell. Also, I just love talking about pens with people. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.